this is your superhero assignment where you're going to go to the internet and get a background photo. This here is Gotham City that I just got by Googling superhero background image and saving it as a JPEG to my desktop. And then I have this photo here of my son that I'm going to select using the magnetic lasso tool. And remember, with magnetic lasso tool, I do want to feather a little bit. Maybe I'll feather like 7 pixels. Everything else is fine here. Remember, if you really mess up, just hit escape on your keyboard to get out of it, or backspace to go backwards. So I'm going to try and outline them. Again, I can do my Control plus to get big so I don't go blind while doing it. No, I'm going to go a little bit smaller than that. Okay, so what I want to do is have him climbing up the side of this building. So I'm starting to select, and I feathered at 7 pixels because otherwise it's quite harsh. And to go around, remember you need 5 different unique superhero backgrounds and people posing in them. You can have one person, you can have more than one. That's totally up to you. You are the creative artist while doing this, and creativity always counts with grades. So always remember to give it your best effort. Okay, and remember, it's going to make a tiny little circle. You click. Now I have marching ants everywhere. I will go to V or move tool up here, grab him, move him over. He's on his own layer, which is exactly what I want. He's really, really big, which isn't that great, but I'm going to do my Control. Okay, what am I going to do now? I will do Control T, Control 0 to get him to shrink down. And remember to always hold a corner and shift, otherwise you're going to distort. So I'm going to move them over, and what I see here, I'll check mark it just so I can make it a little bit bigger to see. He has this whitish outline around him, which I'm not really crazy about, and I want to make him smaller. So we'll make him smaller. Hold down shift, grab a corner, shrink him in a little bit more. Now he's not quite fitting the angle of the building. So now what I can do is here where it becomes, my arrow will become a little curvy arrow. I'm just kind of hovering around it to get it to be like that. There. I can actually rotate him around, and that's going to look a lot better. That's going to look a lot more spider-like. And now I think just for fine-tuning, I'm going to use the arrow keys on my keyboard to make them go down so that this hand looks like it's grabbing the top of the building. Now, that toe I like, this toe I don't like. So I'm going to go in closer and actually erase. If you hit H on your keyboard, your cursor becomes a hand and you can move your entire photo up and down, which I really like too. So that's a good little trick to know as well. So I'm going to grab my eraser and make it a little bit bigger. Make sure I'm on my layer with my person. Yeah, I don't know why my eraser is not. It's too huge, that's why. Okay. So sometimes I have to open it up, I don't know why. So I'm going to erase, and see my opacity is at 51. For this I can put it all the way up to 100, because I know I want to get rid of that leg right there, that bottom foot I should say right there, to make it kind of look like he's behind the tower. The other thing I want to do now with a really, really small eraser is kind of go around and grab that white little layer of pixels that came along with them when I cut them out, because that'll just make it a little more believable than having a white little glow around him. And let me go to hand so I can easily move that up. And back to E for eraser. So again, you should always have your Photoshop shortcut sheet out. You should always be adding to it, because that's your little go-to sheet. And the more you work in Photoshop, the more you'll remember off the top of your head, but that sheet will really help you for now. Okay, almost done. And there. Yep, and I think I'm good. Okay, so he looks a lot better now. It doesn't have that white little glow. He is brighter than this background. So what we're gonna do for that is the Control L, which brings us to levels. And with levels, you only have to worry about these three triangles at the top, the black and the white, actually, only two triangles. I will take this, and again, I'm only on the layer with my person or persons, and I'm gonna move in, and he is going to become darker, which is cool. If I went this way, he'd become lighter, and then he really sticks out like a sore thumb. So I'm just gonna make it like that, say okay, and I can always go back to my history and be like, okay, there he was before, very faded, very bright, not really great, and then there's the levels right there. Even another thing you can do, I'll show you this too. You can do a Control M, and with Control M, this is called curves, and with curves you have RGB, red, green, blue. I like keeping it on just the RGB, and these shadows here tell me how much darkness there is. There really isn't a lot of darkness, so I'm going to take that line and pull it down into the darkness, and then you can also pull it just a touch up. So what this is called is an S curve. So it makes it, I know it's a very, very slight S, but they still call it an S curve. And I'm going to say okay. And again, I can go back in my history, go backwards, say, oh, what was it like before curves? All right, I like it better. It did bring out a little more darkness, which suits this background more. And then, yeah, that was before. So no, I definitely like what I did. Okay, so do this with 5 different backgrounds, 5 different people, make it as creative as possible. You can have more than one person in there as well. Make sure though, in your layers over here, everything you do is on a separate layer. That is really, really gonna help things out. Okay, so enjoy this one. Bye-bye.